To continue our discussion, we will be discussing the RPMS cycle, the phases of RPMS, and also the performance objectives, the indicators, and MOVs to be prepared by Teacher 1 to Teacher 3 teachers for school year 2021 to 2022. So let's start with the phase number 1, performance planning and completement, with the following activities. Number 1 is the start of RPMS cycle and start of portfolio collection. So dito na magsa-start ang mga teachers sa paggawa ng kanilang portfolio. So ang responsible nito ay ang mga ratees. At ang schedule nito ay magsisimula sa August 1, 2021. Second activity ay ang self-assessment with the initial development planning. So ito na yung magsasagot na sila ng self-assessment tool. Sila pa rin yung responsible yung mga ratees natin by September 2021. The third activity under phase number 1 is the capacity building activities and the presentation of RPMS tools in the time of COVID-19. So, dito na magbibigay ng mga capacity building activity as well as i-present na sa lahat ng mga teachers ano ba ang RPMS tool in time of COVID-19. So, ang mga responsible nito ay regional offices, the school division office, the school head, as well as the raters. So, lahat ng mga pag-present dapat ay i-present ng mga raters papunta sa ratees. So by September to December 2021. And then the next activity is the national orientation to be conducted by the central office by January 2022. Under Phase 2, Performance Monitoring and Coaching, it has two activities, mainly the monitoring and coaching. Ito na yung pag-o-observe ng mga klase at imo-monitor na yung mga teachers at i-coach din by the school head and the raters from August to June 2022. It is whole year round. And the mid-year review with development planning by the school heads, the raters, and the ratees sometime in February 2022. And the phase 3 is performance review and evaluation. Diyan na ang year-end review. So, sino ba ang responsible sa pag-review? The raters, the ratees, and approving authorities. So, kailan to magaganap? A week after scheduled graduation. And for phase 4, so ito na yung mga activities, ways forward development planning by the ratee. So based on their development plans, doon na sila gagawa ng mga plano nila in the future. This is a week after the scheduled graduation. And the IPCRF data collection. So yun na, yung mga final IPCRF ng all teachers a month after scheduled graduations. Now, ano ba ang dapat i-prepare ng mga teacher 1 to 3 position? So, ano ba yung mga MOVs na kailangan nila? Ano ba yung performance objectives na kailangan tingnan natin ngayon? At ano yung mga indicators of success for school year 2021-2022? There are 18 indicators from the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers chosen as RPMS objectives for this school year. These priority indicators complete the integration of PPST through the RPMS. For the RPMS tool for proficient teachers, meron tayong Appendix 1A, at Appendix 1B naman para sa mga highly proficient teachers. A glossary is provided in each tool to set the operational definition of concepts from the indicators of certain MOV. So, for this school year, 18 na indicators mula sa PPST ay ginamit for the RPMS objectives sa taong ito. So, ito na. For proficient teachers, yung mga teacher 1 to 3, there are 9 classroom observable objectives. So out of 18 objectives, 9 sa objective na yon ay makukuha natin in the classroom. The performance indicators of these objectives are identified for quality. So yung siyam na objective na yon ay pawang ilalagay natin sa quality. Wala ng efficiency, wala ng timeliness. Siyam na objective na yon ay ilalagay natin ang performance ng teacher under quality. Objectives 1, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 requires means of verification from a classroom observation, while objectives 7, 8, 9, and 10 have set A and set B options that require MOV from either a classroom observation, provisional of supplemental materials, or accomplishment of a teacher reflection form or TRF depending on the context of the teacher. So yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, makukuha natin ang MOV yan through classroom observation. Samantalang si 7, 8, 9, and 10 ay may pagpipilian ang teacher kung ano ang kanyang MOV na i-prepare. Sa set A ba siya or sa set B? So mamaya ay matitingnan natin ano ba yung mga MOV sa set A at ano ba ang MOV for the set B. But it is depending on the context of the teacher. So, pwedeng magkakaiba ang ilalagay ni teacher na MOV niya depende kung ano ang context niya. Para naman sa mga highly proficient teachers, mga master teachers, there are 7 classroom observable objectives. So, the performance of his indicators ay nandun pa rin sa quality ilalagay. Walang efficiency, walang timeliness. Lahat pawang quality. Para sa objective 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, ang MOV niyan ay nagmula sa classroom observation. Samantala, ang objective 9 and 10 ay pipili ulit si master teacher kung anong set ng MOV ang kanyang pipiliin. Set A or set B from either a classroom observation or accomplishment of a teacher reflection form depending on the context of the teacher. So mamaya ay makikita natin ano ba itong teacher reflection form. Makikita natin yan later. Only 2 observations are required for both proficient and highly proficient teachers for the entire school year. So, 2 classroom observation lamang po ang magaganap sa mga teacher 1 to 3 as well as master teachers 1, 2, 3, and 4 for this school year. On the other hand, there are 13 non-classroom objectives for both proficient and highly proficient teachers. Ano ibig sabihin ng non-classroom? Hindi natin makukuha through classroom observation. This includes the objectives that have set A and set B options. Again, meron pagpipilian pa rin si teacher kung anong MOVs or objectives ang kanyang pipiliin. May set A or may set B. The performance indicators of these objectives are identified for quality. So lahat po ay quality. Ang plus factor is objective number 19. So ngayon, merong 19 na objective ang teacher para sa kanyang IPCRF, RPMS at the end of the school year. So, isa-isahin na natin ngayon yung mga MOVs na ipe-prepare ni teacher at magsisimula tayo sa proficient teachers mula teacher 1 hanggang teacher 3. Sa sinasabi natin kanina, merong 19 na RPMS objective. At let's start with objective number 1. Applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching area. So ano ba yung mga MOVs na hahanapin ni teacher dyan? Classroom observation tool rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form. So yung nagpa-observe. So number 1, an observation of synchronous teaching, kung may limited face-to-face teaching, online teaching, or two-way radio instruction. Number 2, if option 1 is not possible, an observation of a recorded video lesson or audio lesson that is self-learning module-based or MELC-aligned. So kung hindi nagsisynchronous teaching, pwede kang mag-record ng video lesson. Basta it is SLM-based and MELC-aligned. Number 3, if hindi pa rin available si 1 and 2, an observation of a demonstration teaching via LAC or Learning Action Cell or via LAC or School Learning Action Cell. So ito yung MOV under objective number 1. Objective number 2 used research-based knowledge and principles of teaching and learning to enhance professional practice. Ang MOV, one lesson plan with annotation, identifying the research-based knowledge and or principle of teaching and learning used as basis for planning and designing the lesson. So ito na, yung lesson plan na ginamit ni teacher, dapat may annotation siya at nilagay niya sa annotation kung ano yung research-based na knowledge, ano yung principles of teaching na gagamitin niya habang ituturo niya ang lesson na nandoon sa lesson plan niya. For objectives 3, 4, 5, and 6, parehong MOVs ang ipe-prepare ni teacher. Babasahin ko ang Objective 3, displayed proficient use of mother tongue, Filipino, and English to facilitate teaching and learning. Objective 4, used effective verbal and non-verbal classroom communication strategies to support learner understanding, participation, engagement, and achievement. Objective number 5, established safe and secure learning environments to enhance learning through the consistent implementation of policies, guidelines, and procedures. For objective number 6, maintained learning environments that promote fairness, respect, and care to encourage learning. So ano yung mga MOVs na ipe-prepare? Yung COT tool ng ratings or rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form kung marami ang nag-observe in one observation. Ano yung ipe-prepare? An observation of synchronous teaching kung nagli-limited face-to-face na ang school nyo, kung may online teaching kayo or meron kayong two-way radio instruction. If hindi available yung option 1, pwede kang mag-record ng video or audio lesson basta isiguro mo na it is SLM-based and MELC-aligned. And kung wala pa rin 1 and 2, pwede kang mag-undergo sa observation in a demonstration classes or in demonstration teaching through your school learning action cell. For objective number 7, ito na yung sinasabi na may set A at may set B na means of verification. So pipili si teacher, depende sa context niya kung ano ang kanyang ibibigay na means of verification. So I will be reading the objective number 7. Maintained learning environments that nurture and inspire learners to participate, cooperate, and collaborate in continued learning. Ito na yung set A na MOV. Any supplementary material, be in print, be in digital format, made by the ratee or the teacher and used in the lesson delivery that highlights maintaining learning environments that nurture and inspire learners to participate, cooperate, and collaborate in continued learning. Ano na yung mga supplementary materials na yon? Activity sheets, pwedeng one lesson from a self-learning module, pwedeng lesson plan. Ano yung example ng mga lesson plan? Yung DLP, DLL, WHLP, WLP, WLL, lesson exemplars, and the likes. Pwede ring video lesson. Pwede ding audio lesson at other learning materials in print and digital format. And you have to specify and provide annotation kung ano yung learning materials na ginawa ninyo. Next, with client and learner feedback on how the material encouraged the learners to participate, cooperate, and collaborate. Please specify and provide annotation of one's contribution to a material if it is a group work. So, example, nagbigay kayo ng activity sheet sa mga kabataan. Dapat, pagbalik nun, ay merong learner's feedback. So, pwede nating gamitin yon as MOV, set A in objective number 7. Pwede din kayong pumili ng set B na MOV. Ano yung set B? The Classroom Observation Tool or the Rating Sheet or Inter-Observer Agreement Form na nag-synchronous teaching kayo. Kung wala kayong synchronous teaching, pwede kayong gumawa ng video lesson na SLM-based and MELC-aligned, or kung wala, ay nag-observe si rater sa inyo through your teaching demonstration via LAC. But you have to make sure na yung video or yung classroom observation ninyo ay makukuha nyo ang objective number 7, na you have to maintain learning environment that nurture and inspire learners to participate, cooperate, and collaborate in continued learning. Dapat ang strategy ninyo sa under number 7 has this collaboration, cooperation for continued learning. Dapat makita yan sa classroom observation ninyo if you opted to prepare set B of means of verification under objective number 7 of the RPMS. Now, for the objective number 8, applied a range of successful strategies. When we say a range of successful strategies, we are talking about strategies on how you are going to deliver the lesson that maintain learning environments that motivate learners to work productively by assuming responsibility for their own learning. For set A, these are your MOV. Again, pwedeng any supplementary material, katulad ng binanggit natin kanina, and you have to provide and specify annotation for one's contribution. So, in every activity sheets na ibibigay mo as MOV, you have to provide annotation kung paano yun nakakontribute in answering objective number 8. If you opted to have this set B na MOVs, you have to undergo a classroom observation through the use of classroom observation tool na may rating ng rating ninyo. But you have to know na yung strategy ay makikita ni Rati sa inyong demonstration because it has to answer what is being stated in objective number 8. And objective number 8 stresses the range of successful strategies that maintain learning environment that motivates the students, and so on and so forth. So in your classroom demonstration, you have to ensure that you are going to use these classroom strategies in order to maintain learning environments that can motivate the students, that they can work productively and be responsible of their own learning. So, yan, teachers. For objective number 9, designed, adopted, and implemented teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. Okay, you have to take note of the keywords here. The learners with disabilities, giftedness, and learners with talent. So, ano yung MOVs na kailangan mo? Pareho pa rin yung COT. Kung wala kayong limited face-to-face, pwede kang gumawa ng video or audio recorded, provided na it is SLM-based and MELC-aligned. Or kung wala, pwede kang gumawa ng classroom observation, magpapa-observe ka through LAC. But you have to make sure that in your lesson, you had made a strategies that could be responsive to learners with disabilities. For me, one good example here is during the activities. You have to provide activities for learners with disabilities, learners with giftedness, and learners with talent. So in short, you have to provide a variety of activities that would ensure that teaching strategies could respond to the development needs of every learners in your classroom. If you wish to choose set B in preparing MOVs for objective number 9, you have to prepare a teacher reflection form on designing, adopting, implementing teaching strategies that are responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents, and a certification from the school head that the rated classes have no identified learners with disabilities, giftedness, or talent. So example, sa classroom nyo, wala talaga kayong enrollee na may disability, may gift, or may talent. So kailangan nyo mag-secure ng certification from the school head na wala kayong estudyanteng ganyan. And you need to get this teacher reflection form. You have to answer this teacher reflection form, and this will serve as your MOV. For objective number 10, adopted and used culturally appropriate teaching strategies to address the needs of learners from indigenous groups. So kanina, gifted, itong number 10 ay mula naman sa mga indigenous group. For set A, you have to make a classroom observation. You have to do a classroom observation with COT signed by the rater or inter-observer agreement form. Again, pareho pa rin ang gagawin, but make sure that in your lesson, you have to know and to prepare activities and teaching strategies for the indigenous groups. It is culturally appropriate teaching strategies. If wala kayong IP enrolled sa classroom ninyo, you have to secure a certification from the school head na wala kayong estudyante na enroll sa classroom na yan. And you have to answer the teacher reflection form on adapting and using culturally appropriate teaching strategies to address the needs of learners. Itong dalawa ang magiging means of verification ninyo that would be placed under objective number 10 if you wish to choose set B sa pagbibigay ng MOVs during sa portfolio making ng IPCRF and RPMS-PPST ng mga teachers. Now, for objective number 11, adopted and implemented learning programs that ensure relevance and responsiveness to the needs of all learners. Ano yung mga MOVs na ipaprepare ninyo? Proof of evaluation on the implementation of the adapted and contextualized learning program. So kung meron kayong in-adopt na learning program or nag-contextualize kayo ng learning program, dapat may proof of evaluation yan. Sino ba mag-e-evaluate? So yung school principal or the higher people under our department. Number 2, progress report on the implementation of the adopted and contextualized learning program. Example ng mga adopted, the reading program, and every program na may relevance and responsive sa needs ng mga learners. Gagawa ka ng progress report. And number 3, accomplishment, of course. Completion, technical report on the implementation of an adapted and contextualized learning program. And number 4, action plan, activity proposal, activity matrix that shows adapted and contextualized learning program. So for now, the very good program that we need to adopt is the reading program for all our learners. So kung ano yung mga pag sinabing adopted, meron ng program na existing, in-adopt nyo na lang sa school nyo at in-implement ninyo. So gagawa nyo ng action plan, activity proposal, and everything. And after the program has been implemented, you need to do the accomplishment. But before doing the accomplishment, you have to have the progress report on the implementation of that program. And the last is the proof of evaluation that the program did exist in that school year for your class or for the entire school. So that is the MOV for objective number 11. For objective number 12, utilized assessment data to inform the modification of teaching and learning practices and programs. So ito yung mga MOVs. A list of identified lists and most mastered skills based on the frequency of errors, correct responses with any of the following supporting MOV. Dapat ang teachers ngayon ay meron siyang list of identified least mastered skills ng mga bata or most mastered skills ng mga bata based on the frequency of error. Saan ba natin ito makikita? Yung mga binibigay natin ng mga parallel assessment ng mga bata, kailangan meron tayong mga frequency of error nun. And supported with the following supporting MOV. Number 1, accomplishment report for remedial enhancement activities. Example, remedial sessions, summer reading camp, field area-based reading program. Number 2, intervention material used for remediation, reinforcement, and enhancement. So papasok dito yung strategic and intervention material, yung SIM. Pwede kayong gumawa nun. And number 3, lesson plan or activity log for remediation, enhancement, utilizing of assessment data to modify teaching and learning practices or program. So, gawa kayo ng lesson plan or activity log for remediation. For objective number 13, maintained learning environments that are responsive to community contexts. Ano ba yung mga MOV? 1, accomplishment report of a program, project, activity that maintains a learning environment. Number 2, program, project, or activity plan on maintaining a learning environment. Number 3, you have to make minutes of a consultative meeting, community stakeholders meeting about a program, project, activity that maintains a learning environment with proof of attendance. Number 4, communication letter about a program, project, activity that maintains a learning environment. Example, yung community context ninyo, ang mga bata namin dito sa community namin ay mahirap talagang magbasa. So, kailangan natin gumawa ng programa kung paano tayo magpabasa ng bata. So, gagawa ka ng communication letter about the program, papatawag ka ng meeting. During that consultative meeting, stakeholders, teachers, parents, ay magmi-minutes ka, may proof of attendance, gawa ka ng program plan, at after na-implement yung program plan, gumawa ka ng accomplishment report. So, ganun. Basta ma-maintain ang learning environment, depende kung ano yung context ng community. Kasi hindi tayo magkakapareho ng community. For objective number 14, reviewed regularly personal teaching practice using existing laws and regulations that apply to the teaching profession and the responsibilities specified in the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So ano yung MOVs na i-prepare natin dito? Annotated video, audio recording of one's teaching that shows impact of regularly reviewing one's teaching practices. Number 2, annotated teaching material that shows the impact of regularly reviewing one's teaching practice. Example, lesson plan, activity sheet, assessment, and others. Number 3, personal reflection notes as outputs from participation and review of personal teaching practices in 4 quarters. And number 4, proof of attendance with date in the LAC or coaching and mentoring session for review of personal teaching practices. For objective number 15, complied with and implemented school policies and procedures consistently to foster harmonious relationship with learners, parents, and other stakeholders. MOVs, proof of participation, involvement in a school community partnership for the implementation of a school policy and procedure. Example, certificate as committee member and narrative report. So kung meron kayong mga ganyan, pwede nyong ilagay sa MOV yan. Next, minutes of parent-teacher conference, stakeholders meeting about an implemented school policy, procedure with proof of attendance. And number 3, communication letter about an implemented school policy, procedure sent to parent and guardian. Example, yung procedure and how you are going to get the module, retrieve the module. So may procedure, dapat meron siyang nabigay ang communication letter na yan sa mga parents with proof of attendance. So dapat pag nabigay sa kanila yung communication letter, dapat pirmahan ni parent na nabasa nila and ganon. And so on, and other programs implemented by the school to implement its policy, internal policy. For Number 16, applied a personal philosophy of teaching that is learner-centered. So, pag sinabing personal, so yung sariling philosophy ni teacher and how he or she is going to teach the child, but he is or she is making sure that this philosophy is learner-centered. One lesson plan with annotation explaining the application of a learner-centered teaching philosophy. Example, constructivism, existentialism. Tapos, explain ni teacher ngayon paano niya ginamit si constructivism in designing on presenting his lesson to the children and used as basis for planning and designing the lesson. Example, I use the progressivism, which entails that the child can learn best while they are learning by doing. So with this, I did this lesson more specifically on the activities that I'll be giving that they'll be learning while they are doing the task. So example yun. For number 17, adopted practices that uphold the dignity of teaching as a profession by exhibiting qualities such as caring attitude, respect, and integrity. So ano yung mga MOVs? Number 1, documented feedback from superiors, colleagues, learners, parents and guardians, or other stakeholders directly reflecting the rate's good practices that uphold the dignity of teaching as a profession. So, kailangan yung mag-feedback yung mga parent, yung principal natin, naka-black and white format talaga, signed by them para mayroon tayong MOV. Number 2, annotated evidence of practice indirectly linking to the upholding the dignity of teaching as a profession by exhibiting qualities as caring, attitude, respect, and integrity. Example, screenshot of text messages, chat, email, any form of communication with parents, tapos name or any identifier removed. So, walang name na ilalagay. Remarks from mentor, master teacher, school head about one's quality. And next, recognition from the school and school community about one's qualities and others, please specify. Pag may screenshot ka, you have to annotate that this text messages was sent by the parents during this yun, and so on and so forth. So, mag-annotate ka doon. For objective number 18, set professional development goals on the Philippine professional standards for teachers. So, ito na yung MOV. You have to submit the updated IPCRF DP from phase 2. Number 2, the media review form. Kasi magre-review tayo February 2022. Yung form na yon ay gagamitin nyo as MOV. Then number 3, IPCRF DP Development Plan. This is part 4 of the IPCRF. And number 4 is the certification from the ICT coordinator, school head, focal person in charge of electronic self-assessment tool. So pag nakapag-submit na kayo ng electronic self-assessment tool, you have to secure a certification from the ICT coordinator na nakapag-submit na kayo. And for the objective number 19, ito na yung class factor. Perform various related works and activities that contribute to the teaching learning process. Any proof of committee involvement, advisorship of co-curricular activities, book or journal authorship or contributorship, coordinatorship or chairpersonship, coaching and mentoring learners in competitions, serving as a reliever of classes in absence of teachers, mentoring pre-service teachers, participation in demonstration teaching, participation as technical working group member, and others, please specify and provide annotations kung ano yon. So, ito na yung mga objectives ng Teacher 1 to 3 at yung MOV na kailangang hagilapin para mailagay natin sa portfolio during the final rating of the IPCRF for Proficient teachers.